Welcome to another episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. I am Kristen McCary, and I'm here with your host,
Janine Corcoran, broker for Corcoran Connect, a real estate company.
And we have another business spotlight for you this month. I love that Janine decided to go down and interview Sam Haught with
Wild Florida.
So tell us a little bit about your experience down at Wild Florida.
Oh my gosh, did you know they've been in business for 13 years?
I didn't realize that. And I feel like, because I watched the interview, I feel like I heard that they kind of have like a rags to riches type thing. Like came born out of hardship, if you will.
Yeah. So back, Sam, of course, is married. His wife comes from the Munns family. And as you know, they're big in our county, and they did a lot of real estate transactions. And so they had, I believe it was 15 acres that they had purchased in their portfolio, and then the market crashed and they didn't know what to do with it. And I don't want to tell too much of the story because I want you to be able to watch and hear from Sam. But basically they had the land and the market crashed, and I said, what are we going to do? So, on part of the land, there was an airboat already working, a company that already did. So they started with the airboat rides first, and then gradually Wild Florida grew into what we know as the drive-through safari, and they also have the alligator park. I mean, it's just there's so much out there, and people don't know. And
right.
The other thing too is, as I was driving there, because I go there with KJ, Kristen's nephew, my grandson, and he calls it Africa, and you'll hear that in the video, but it's just right around the corner from us. Mm-hmm. But when I was doing it, because I always do St. Cloud local businesses, I realized, wait, their address is in Kenansville, but it really is right over the border. Right. Like, it's so close. It's really St. Cloud. Mm-hmm. It has a mailing address at Kenansville, but it's really, because I think of Kenansville, it's like, I have to take a 30-minute ride. But
right.
It's not. It's so close.
And that's really cool. And I think, like, a lot of people, Wild Florida's been around again for 13 years. But I feel like they really got boosted popularity for locals here during the pandemic because of their drive-through safari. Like, I know that people were like, what can we do with these kids? They're home. We need to do something. And that's when the drive-through safari became, I never even knew it existed, if it existed before the pandemic or not, but it was really cool. I mean, where else can you go see really cool animals, do a safari, but from the comfort of your car in the AC? In Florida.
Yeah.
Come on. So.
And we have a sunroof on our SUV. So KJ likes to stand on the console and just watch the animals. It's great. I mean, we have videos of him. Yeah. I mean, it's just a great thing for kids to do.
Yeah.
And families.
Yep, absolutely. And they have so many other things to offer. So you can check those guys out at wildfloridaairboats.com. But in the meantime, I guess we'll see your interview with Sam.
Yes, let's watch it. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to everyone and be on this podcast.
Thank you.
So, Sam Haught, right?
Yep,
Say it right?
You got it right.
Not hot.
Yeah, hot, just like the weather.
Okay, great. Sam, tell us, how long have you been in business? How long has Wild Florida been in business?
This is our 13th year, and can't believe it's been that long, but yeah, 13 years and going.
Wow. And what made you decide to do this business? What's behind that?
Well, so it started with real estate, to be honest. And we were in the real estate development business, and we're buying up properties and entitling them and converting them or selling them. And, the market fell apart in 2008, and we had all this property and we owned it. So we were okay sitting on it, but we said, why don't we figure out something that we can do on this property that we own? And we started dreaming up these ideas of an attraction. It actually started with a dude ranch. Do you know what that is?
Of course.
Yeah, City Slickers. Yep.
Of course.
So yeah, that's kind of how it started, and then it was born out of our love for the outdoors. And whenever we have people come in town, anyone who lives here in Central Florida, you have friends who show up all over the place and want you to get them into Disney or the parks. Right. Yeah. So we'd have people come into town and say, well, go show us. We want to see something fun. We want to see something that people in Florida do off the beaten path. And so we were taking them out on airboats and doing all the fun stuff we like to do. And we just knew that this was really where our heart was and passion. And so we started coming up with fun ideas to do out on the water, and airboat rides was the sort of natural genesis of all of that.
Is that what started first, the airboat rides?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So
what came next?
So we bought the property. It was 15 acres, and it had an airboat operator on it when we first bought the fish camp. And we continued to let him operate for a couple of years until we were ready, and then we took that over and started doing our own airboat rides. But that was the first thing, and then eventually the rest of the park developed into what it is today.
I don't think a lot of people know about Wild Florida, or like we talked about.
Yeah.
Even though the physical address says Kenansville, I was in by Harmony, and I put it in my GPS. It's 12 miles away. So
yeah,
and even when I was surprised, I was like, wait, I thought it was in St. Cloud, but it's so close. It's on the border, right?
Yeah.
The dividing line is the turnpike.
We're just right on the 100 yards from St. Cloud zip codes.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Kenansville, I think it turns some people off because they think, oh, I got to drive another 30 minutes to get down to Kenansville. But yeah, we're real close to St. Cloud. We identify and we really, promote St. Cloud as our destination.
Right. And you're a resident of St. Cloud.
I am, yeah. I live out on Lake Lizzie. Love it. I love everything about St. Cloud. And this is really where we wanted to start our business, was Osceola County and in this area. And we looked all over Central Florida at lots of different locations when we were looking for the airboat spot we wanted to really build out. And this was by far, it just doesn't get any prettier than this.
No, this is true Florida, that's for sure. So for those people out there that don't know who Sam is, can you give us a brief synopsis of him?
Sure, yeah. So I come from Arizona. I went to school in Utah and started working for a big company called Goldman Sachs, and met my wife. And what I found out about meeting my wife, who is from right here in St. Cloud, Southern girls go home. They go home to mom. And so about 6 months after we got married, we were coming out here, and I quit my job at Goldman and started doing real estate development with the Munns family. And we developed Lake Lizzie Reserve, Nova Bay, some property on New Nolte Road, and some other pieces, and then eventually landed on this spot. And it's been a wild ride, but in the process, I now have 5 kids. Oh, wow. I think I'm in like every grade level in Osceola County schools, and we love everything about Florida outdoors and water. If we've got an open weekend, we're on the water somewhere, scalloping, lobstering, fishing, spearfishing, hunting. We're all about it.
So out of the 3, because I feel like even though it's one big Wild Florida, you kind of have 3 separate
You're right.
sections. Out of the 3 of them, is there anyone that's has a stronger audience?
Right now, it's the drive-through safari for sure. The drive-through safari we say it's the easiest adventure you'll ever go on. I would say it's the most comfortable outdoor adventure you can go on in Central Florida, and I don't know if there's any other park that you can do from the air-conditioned climate control of your own car.
Right.
So that's hard to beat. And our airboat rides are limited by the amount of people that we can take on a 17-passenger boat on a schedule and with weather. And so it's really complicated. I mean, actually, the people in our store that are running our airboat rides are scientists to be able to make it all work and fit the puzzle together. The safari is, you open the gate and you drive through. And so we'll see, on a given busy Saturday, we'll have 2,000 people drive through the safari and 500 people do airboat rides.
Oh, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I've taken my grandson, he calls it Africa.
Yeah.
He wants to go to Africa. It took me a while to figure out what he was talking about, but when we go, I have the sunroof, and so he stands on the console and he's out on the sunroof, and
we love to see that.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
I love it. And then at the end, feeding the giraffe.
Yeah, that might be the highlight of it. I personally love to see the wildebeest and some of the other herds of animals we have in the safari. I think that's just really, really cool. Instead of just seeing one animal in an exhibit, to be able to see a free roaming herd of something is awesome. But the giraffes, everybody loves that part of the adventure.
And the ostriches, when they start walking to you, I'm always like, okay, get in.
Yeah. Party's over. Roll up the windows.
Yeah, roll up the windows.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Out of all the animals there, that's the only one. I mean, not that they weren't aggressive, but I just get like
they're the
okay,
most
get in.
curious.
Yeah, the most curious. That's a good way to put it. So since you do live in St. Cloud, tell me, can you tell people why? This is Discover St. Cloud, Florida, of course.
Yeah.
So why is it? Why would you recommend people moving to St. Cloud? Like, what does St. Cloud have to offer?
It still has that small town feeling. It's starting to be more and more developed, but I think it's maintaining that character. And I really, that's one of the things I really love about it, is that it feels like a small town and you still know the people as you're driving down the road. It also just has beautiful, beautiful Florida landscape surrounding it.
Lakes.
And the lakes and the waterways. To me, the alligator chain of lakes is the undiscovered crown jewel of Central Florida. And I don't want, maybe I shouldn't say it. I don't want people to know about it because I live on the alligator chain of lakes, but it's one of those rare places where you can ride around on a chain of 5 or 6 lakes and all day long never see the same shoreline. It's so immense, and rarely see another boat.
Yeah.
And I come from Arizona, where the lakes get so packed that they shut them down by about 10 o'clock and say, we can't take any more boats on the lake. It's not safe. And so for me, from an Arizona boy, this is the dream, to be able to come out here and live on a lake. You can actually do that in St. Cloud. And I love how accessible the outdoors are here. There's lots of management areas and public land that you can get out and you can fish and duck hunt and deer hunt. And no one's going to stop you. It's just fair game. And I love that part about St. Cloud. And also, people don't know that right here in our backyard, the Everglades start.
Yes.
This is what you're looking at here is the Everglades. And people think you have to drive down to Fort Lauderdale and Miami to be able to experience that, but it's right here. It's kind of all around us.
Wow, that's great. Sam, if there's one thing that you can recommend people, if you're coming to St. Cloud, you have to see, besides Wild Florida, you have to go here. It could be a restaurant, it could be whatever, it could be anything. Is there any one place?
Sure. So restaurant-wise, I would say the Catfish Place. That might not be your favorite spot, but it's our favorite spot whenever people come to town. And we serve alligator and fun stuff here too, but they've got fried lobster. And that, I don't know.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah. No, most people have never tried fried lobster, but we're in the South. We fry everything.
Yep.
And our local caught lobster, people also don't know that you can catch lobster right here off the, at the beach. And when it's fried, it's fantastic.
Well, then I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm not a fry person, but hey, I love lobster. So
you might like it.
I'll try it. Well, thank you, Sam. I do appreciate you, and I appreciate your advertising in the Harmony Life magazine. Bill appreciates that.
Absolutely.
And I'm definitely going to come back for an airboat ride because that's the only thing I haven't tried. So
Okay.
at least I could say I've done that.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Man, that was great. I can't believe Sam has 5 kids.
I was thinking the same thing. I was going to say the same thing. I was like, 5 children. He was just saying he's very, has them all in different levels of schools.
Yeah.
5 children. Wow. Sam, way to go.
I can't even believe it. I have 2. I can't keep up with that. Never mind running a park like you run. It's just incredible. So really cool story, really cool family, really cool park.
Yeah. Did you hear the airboat rides? When I'm interviewing, I'm so focused on listening to what they're saying. I didn't even realize. So Rachel, Kristen's daughter, came out to help film, and she kept saying, "Oh my gosh, those airboats were so loud," but I didn't even hear them until I listened to the video. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better by the time it
Yes. Hey, listen, it was natural sound. People now know what the airboats sound like and how cool it was out there. But yeah, that is funny. You could, and it's almost like, I think at the point when I noticed the first airboat was when Sam was mentioning the people who run the air, like the crew that does the airboat tours, and then the airboat picked up in the background. And so that was really funny. But
And weren't you surprised? I mean, I was surprised at the numbers he said on any good Saturday, how many people attend.
I had no idea. I had no idea. That's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And then the airboat's he could only fit 17 at a time. So, of course, you're not going to have as many people coming through that.
Right.
But, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, if you haven't been to Wild Florida, don't let the Kenansville address scare you.
Yeah.
Go check them out. They're seriously, it took you how long from Harmony?
It was like not even 10 minutes, not even.
Right. It was so close.
I always think of it when you're in the manor, like, you're back of the, where Winn-Dixie Publix is.
Right.
It's like not far from there.
Right.
It's just down the road.
Right. But it's,
They should actually talk to county and put a sign right at that crossing and then just says Wild Florida straight ahead. Right. I bet you that would get them so much more.
right. Because people are
Locals.
like, oh, I don't want to drive all the way to Kenansville.
Yeah. And then have like a little mile marker that says,
Right.
how many miles away.
2 miles away or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so you can check out Wild Florida online at wildfloridaairboats.com. And they are located at 3301 Lake Cypress Road in Kenansville, Florida, 34739. But again, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's
So
right
so
there.
and the turnpike, you're crossing over the turnpike, when you're going
Yeah.
down the road, and as soon as you cross the turnpike, that's where you turn right, and it's right there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's right
So
there.
convenient.
So easy.
Anyway, so that was an awesome interview. So thanks for joining us for another episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. Don't forget, you can find us on anywhere you find your podcasts. You can also reach us at
1-844 St. Cloud.
Awesome. If you have any questions or comments, you want to nominate a business for us to come out and talk to that we haven't talked to
that'd be
yet,
awesome.
we'd love some suggestions on that or any other topics you'd like us to cover. But thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode.